FPL managers, chaos is brewing with everyone jumping on the Mbeumo bandwagon. We have had an official confirmation on Evan Nielsen's red card decision, but we still don't know anything about double and blank game weeks. With one free transfer, what could I do for game week 35 in FPL? Well, let's break it down in today's transfer plans video. I always start these videos with a review of the previous game week, and what that allows me to do is identify any problems within the squad, and then in the next section of the video where I look at my transfer plans, I can rectify those problems and make the squad much better. Of course, if you are new around here, feel free to go ahead and click that subscribe button for future FPL videos and of course deadline streams. But let's get straight into how we did for game week 34. Now, some context about this game week for me and my squad. I did not have a free hit chip available for this game week, so I was pretty nervous initially going into the game week. I was expecting a pretty big red arrow in all honesty, but we are on a small green as of the time of recording. Of course, if some of the Forest big ownership players do really well, that could easily turn into a red. We still have Mbeumo to play against Forest on Thursday, so fingers crossed he can come away with something and boost that green up a little bit more. But I'm pretty pleased with the rest of the squad in all honesty. Of course, I doubled up on the Newcastle defence on the game week 30 wildcard, and for game week 34, it's worked out really well. I've had one of the top scorers this game week in Kieran Trippier within the squad, and of course Nick Pope for his nice clean sheet of 6 points. I did 2 transfers for game week 34. One of them was to bring in Agbadou and Jarrod Bowen. Of course, Agbadou is a more price-enabling player, but he still came away with a clean sheet, which was really nice. Bit of a shame I couldn't stretch up to Ain't Nori because he did really well for this game week as well, but the price was just out of my reach. But I still came away with a clean sheet with Agbadou, so I really can't complain about that. Who I can complain about, though, is Lewis Dunk and Brighton. Just bad. Awful decision for me to go for a Brighton defender on the game week 30 wildcard. The fixtures look great, so maybe it's not all my fault. Maybe it's Lewis Dunk's fault. Who knows? But still, bad decision by me to go with a Brighton defender. Not pleased about having him in my team whatsoever. Similar with Palmer. The problem was on the game week 30 wildcard, it was either I went Palmer or Saka. Palmer has outscored Saka the past few game weeks. That's the bottom line. So maybe the decision was right to go for Cole Palmer, but he still has not impressed me whatsoever. I'm probably going to sell him relatively soon. I don't know how I'm going to manage with blank game week possibly being in 37. We just don't know too much about that announcement just yet, so he might have to stay for one more week, which I'm really not too pleased about. But yeah, I'm going to hang fire on that transfer for now, but still not very happy with Cole Palmer. The rest of the team, though, I'm pretty pleased with. Jarrod Bowen, I'm loving him till the end of the season now. I think he's been great the past 2 game weeks. Yeah, really happy to have him within the squad. Salah, it's Mo Salah. What more do you want me to say? Liverpool have won the league. I still think he's going to do well to the end of the season now. Great player. Semenyo, I wasn't too optimistic about this game week with him against Manchester United, but came away with a goal, which of course was assisted by Evan Nielsen. But you will know from the intro that an official decision has been made by FPL regarding the red card appeal from Bournemouth, because Evan Nielsen was wrongly red carded within the fixture, but FPL have decided to keep FPL's minus points for the red card on Evan Nielsen because it was an official match event. I think I agree with this decision in all honesty, even though I own Evan Nielsen. We just have to kind of suck it up, really. It is what it is. But yeah, a bit of a shame, but you can't really do much about that. He did get a red card within the fixture. And of course, Isak 6 points, just plods away quite nicely, although he has been a little bit disappointing in recent weeks. And of course, my bench was completely full of blankers, so pretty happy that everyone started for game week 34. Of course, we don't know if Mbeumo was going to start, but it's more than likely he will against Forest away from home. Of course, little green arrow, hopefully that remains, but let's take a look at the next section of the video where I discuss my transfer plans for game week 35. I have just went to edit this section of the video and the file for some reason has decided to corrupt. So we're going to give it another shot here and hopefully make things a little bit more clearer in this section of the video. The first topic I want to tackle is blank and double game weeks, because some people are really confused on what could happen and why it could happen really. So I'm going to try break it down in the most simple and concise way possible for you guys. Spurs and Aston Villa, they have a chance at doubling in 36 and blanking in 37 because Spurs have requested their Premier League fixture to be moved to accommodate more rest for their Europa League semi-final. Now, Aston Villa, I believe, have rejected this request, but it's not down to them. It's down to the Premier League. So that double could still happen. In my opinion, I just don't think the Premier League are going to entertain this request. I think they will just have normal game weeks to go into the end of the season now. When things get a bit more complicated is when we bring in City and Crystal Palace for their cup final. Because if their fixtures are moved forward a few days in the Premier League, that indicates then a double game week for a few teams in game week 36, followed by a blank in 37. Now, if their fixture is moved a few days backwards in the Premier League, nothing will happen and it will be a single game week for all of the teams included for 36 and 37. The bottom line is we just don't know any other information than this at the time of recording. The time is currently 3 p.m. on Wednesday, so maybe you're watching this at a later date and we have information, but at the time of recording this video, that is all the information we have, and that's the best way I can possibly put this situation. So what that really allows me to do with my transfer plans is nothing too crazy because we really don't know what could happen. What I will do though is judge my team and my transfers going forward based on how it is now. The normal game weeks, how it is now, that's how I'm going to plan my team. And that's how I think I would plan my team anyway because of the limited free transfers I have access to now going into the end of the season. Of course, one free transfer this week, there's not a lot I can really do with my team. But I do have a few ideas that I kind of like the idea of. The first one is, of course, Cole Palmer. Now, if we look at these fixtures, they're absolutely terrible. They really are absolutely pants. The only good fixture here for Cole Palmer and Chelsea is Manchester United at home. That's the only good fixture. And of course, Cole Palmer has no form to him whatsoever. No confidence, no attacking output really whatsoever for Chelsea. It's just a bad player to have on your team right now, Cole Palmer. I will say as a small positive to give myself somewhat of a pat on the back, that since game week 30 on the wild card, I had the decision to go Palmer or Saka. I went Palmer. Palmer has outscored Saka within those game weeks by a very fractional amount of points, maybe 1 or 2 points if I do remember correctly. But he has outscored him, so I'll give him that. But still, not great whatsoever, Cole Palmer. So the transfer I could make is Cole Palmer out and Kevin De Bruyne in. Now, De Bruyne's fixtures are fantastic going into the end of the season. Of course, a small chance of a double, but I don't really want to focus on that. Southampton away, really nice. Bournemouth at home, really great. Wolves at home, despite their form, I think it's a great fixture as well. And just great fixtures. That's the bottom line. Great fixtures, but of course, we have to remember with De Bruyne, his minutes do swap and change quite often. So we don't know if he's definitely going to start for this game, whether he gets benched, whether he gets taken off early. There's a lot of uncertainties with that De Bruyne move. The other thing that's kind of putting me off that Palmer out to De Bruyne move is the presence of Erling Haaland within Man City training now. Of course, when we look at Man City fixtures, Southampton is on the horizon. Having Erling Haaland against Southampton sounds absolutely amazing. Erling Haaland against Southampton would be great for a captaincy option that game week. And the only real way I could afford that is perhaps rolling this week, then next week, removing Cole Palmer and possibly Alexander Isak or Marmoush to go into a midfielder, which is, I believe, 5.6 and below. I'll put Erling Haaland in, it will check for me, or 5.9 million, even better. Then I've got a bit of sort of play room to have sort of with a midfield transfer there going into the end of the season. I just don't know on the situation on Erling Haaland just yet, so I can't really make a decision this week regardless because I would have to roll a transfer anyway. I do think I'm going to roll this week, in all honesty. I don't think there's any changes I could make to my squad to really benefit it going into the end of the season massively. A transfer I could make is obviously one of the Bournemouth assets, Semenyo or Evan Nielsen out. Of course, we do know that Evan Nielsen is available for the rest of the Premier League season, but the fixtures aren't fantastic. You've got Arsenal. Villa at home's decent. I don't mind that fixture. But then you have Man City away. The end fixture of Leicester at home is really the good one. But do I really want to hold him all the way to that point of the season? I'm just not too sure. If I do remove him, who do I then go for? I don't really want Cunha because his fixtures aren't fantastic. It's really only Brighton at home's decent for him. Palace away I think is quite tricky. You've then got Brentford at home, which I don't think is an easy fixture either. So I don't really like the Cunha move. Wissa I just can't afford with the current price I have, I do believe. Let's check it. Yeah, -2 off. Can't make that move. Everyone else, I'm just not too keen on. Wood, I can't reach. Raul, I'm just not too keen on Fulham's fixtures going at the end of the season either. So I think rolling for game week 35 is probably the wisest thing I can do. So I have 2 free transfers for a potential double in 36, going into a blank in 37. Now, the team for the game week, as it stands, looks pretty strong. Evan Nielsen against Arsenal, I think, is the only real weak point, as well as Salah and Palmer facing each other within their fixture. You have a decision on Pope or Henderson. Fantasy Football Hub think Henderson's got a better chance of getting more points this game week. I'm not too sure which way I'll go. I do like the Newcastle defence at the moment, so I'll probably play Nick Pope. But captaincy's an interesting one this game week. I've currently got it on Jared Bowen against Spurs at home. Spurs are really, really bad. That is the bottom line. They're really, really bad. They need to win the Europa League to have any credibility this season. That's going to be a massive, massive priority for them. Of course, my Salah captaincy decision for game week 34 was heavily decided because he was facing Spurs. I think I'm going to follow suit with Jared Bowen with Spurs at home this game week. Vice captain on Mbeumo against another team who have to pretty much go ahead and reach that Europa League final and win it. Otherwise, their season has probably been the worst season they've had in years and years and years for Manchester United. So these two are really good differential captains in my opinion. You could just go ahead and go Mo Salah, easy, captain him. It'll be the highest captain player because he always is. It's pretty safe. But at my rank, I really want to push the top 100k this season. I'm not going to get there by captaining Mo Salah for the rest of the season. It's just not going to happen. Can I make up points by going for a differential captain? Absolutely. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But Jared Bowen captaincy this week, I really do like the look of it. But enough waffle. I'm kind of talking over myself here, so I will end the video there. But that is the team for game week 35. Tomorrow afternoon, you can expect my team selection for game week 35, so make sure you tune in for that. Of course, I always like to outro my videos with a massive thank you to you guys at home for supporting the FPL Mogs YouTube channel. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that sub button for future FPL videos and deadline streams. But that is absolutely everything for today's video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.